Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Huddle Up with Gus. I'm your host, former NFL quarterback Gus Frerotte, and welcome to the new 1631 Digital News Studio. You know, some people say, no news is good news. Well, I say to those people, you've never read 1631digitalnews.com. Go to 1631digitalnews.com to get your latest news, sports, music, and entertainment. And maybe even listen to your favorite podcast, Huddle Up with Gus. Check it out today at www.1631digitalnews.com. Huddle Up with Gus is brought to you by Vegas Sports Advantage. Clients of Vegas Sports Advantage are winning big in 2021, and you can be a part of the winning too. As of June 1st, $100 bettors are up $3,700. $500 bettors are up $18,500, and $1,000 bettors are up $37,000, and $5,000 bettors are up $185,000. Become a client today by clicking the link in the description below, and use promo code HUDDLEUP to take 25% off your package today, thanks to our partnership.
Welcome to what surely will be a doozy of a matchup right here, sports fans. Whether your game is on the gridiron, at the diamond, or on the links, we can only say, welcome to this week's Huddle Up with Gus. 15-year NFL quarterback Gus Frerotte, passion for sports, has taken him on the field and behind the benches, playing for 7 NFL franchises with 114 TDs under his belt. Gus knows who the players are and how the games are won.
It's not every day you get to hang out with an NFL quarterback, huh?
Okay, sports fans, from the decked out and plush 1631 digital studios, it's kickoff time. So snap your chin straps on and get ready to huddle up with Gus.
Strange variety, but again, a big play to Leslie.
Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Huddle Up with Gus. I'm your host, Gus Frerotte, 15-year NFL quarterback. And I appreciate you listening. You can find Huddle Up with Gus wherever you listen to your favorite podcast. I want to thank all of our partners, 1631 Digital News. I want to thank Sounder FM, who hosts our podcasts on their platform, and also Vegas Sports Advantage. You can use my code Huddle Up and get 25% off, so you can save some money, and they're going to help you win some cash. So that's what it's all about. So go to Vegas Sports Advantage, use my code Huddle Up, and save 25%. Today's guest, I cannot wait. This is a man who's an actor, a comedian. He does sports talk radio. You name it, he's done it. And we're getting ready to go on the Bourbon Tour someday. So joining me today is Mathew Laurance. Mathew, how you doing?
I'm doing great, Gus. It's great to see you and to talk to you both. I'm sorry I couldn't. My hair and makeup people were not around today. So
yeah. I wouldn't know what that is. So I usually don't even comb my hair. I went with my dad's look today.
No, you look great. I mean,
I went with my dad's hair for working in a mill was perfect every day.
How did they do that? My father had his own factory, and the same thing with him. I don't have any hair under here, so at least I don't have to worry about that.
But I don't know how they did. Like every day he had mousse and hairspray, and I'm like, you're going to work in the mill, like you know what I mean? Like who's he going to see? I don't know. That's a question you might have. There might have been something there. I'm just saying. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But hey, it's great to see. I know you grew up in Queens, correct?
I was born in Queens, in Far Rockaway, Queens, and grew up. We moved to Long Island, I think, when we were about 5. I mostly grew up on Long Island.
What high school did you go to in Long Island?
I went to Hewlett High School on Long
Okay.
Island, on the South Shore, about 30 minutes from the city. And then I went to college in Boston. And then
you went to Tufts. Yeah,
I did go to Tufts.
Yeah.
I couldn't.
Your brother went to Tufts too, right?
Okay, so what you're trying to prove to me is you've done some research. Okay.
No. I went to Tufts. I went and looked at it with my daughter. She went to Haverford. So
this is even better. The Tufts connection. Haverford is where we shot the scenes in Eddie and the Cruisers at the college.
Really?
All the college concert scenes were at Haverford. That's correct.
That is awesome.
In here, we tie in.
Yeah, that is great.
And then I moved back to the city for about 9 years, going to acting school and driving a cab and working as a waiter for 7 years and doing all that stuff before I moved to Los Angeles, where,
Yeah. Where
everything happened. Yeah.
How was that? Like, so you're in New York, you're driving a cab, you're going to acting school. Do you get a connection to go to LA, or do you just like kind of say, all right, it's time, I'm going to go out there?
The weird thing was the way, as with almost everything in my life, the connection came from, I was doing an off Broadway play in the worst area in New York, right where the tunnel comes through downtown around 42nd Street. And back then it was bad.
Right.
It was really bad. And I was doing a play with a terrific actor named Gene Davis, whose brother Brad starred in a movie called Midnight Express, he was nominated for the Academy Award. Anyway, he was married to a really big casting director in LA, Gene was. And I got a call one day from Penny, his wife, and she said to me, I can't pay for you to come out here, but if you'll come out here, I want you to meet with Carl Reiner. He's doing a movie. I can't tell you about it. It's very secretive. I don't think you'll want to do it, but he would meet with you if you came out. And Carl Reiner was my idol growing up.
Oh, really? Yeah.
I knew every line from The 2,000-Year-Old Man with Carl Reiner and Mel Brooks, every line. And I went out, I sat with him. I stammered through about an hour interview with him. And I ended up going out to LA to do a movie called Dead Men Don't Wear Plaid with Steve Martin.
Oh, yeah. I've seen that. Yeah.
And it was, you never saw my face on screen. It's intercut with all old movie stars and old movies like Humphrey Bogart and Alan Ladd, Fred McMurray, all those people. And all you saw was the back of my head, my back, my hands. The camera would go behind me all the time. And then they would cut to Steve, and then they'd cut back. And Carl called me the man of 10,000 backs. That was the name that I got.
Yeah, it's like the man of many faces.
It was. And it was about 8 weeks of the greatest memories that I'll ever have. It was basically me and Steve Martin for almost all the time. And Carl Reiner, who I told him that was my favorite album. And he said, you know that album?
What was your first line from the album that you said to him? Because I know you had to repeat one.
See, you're really good, Gus. About the third day that we were going to shoot, I was sitting in the morning having some coffee in my director's chair. I was a real big shot. Yeah. And Carl came and sat down next to me, and we were talking about what we were going to do. And he said, all right, I'll be right back. I'm going to go to the bathroom. And he stood up, and I said a line from 2,000-Year-Old Man, which was, good luck on your wending. Because on the album, Carl says to Mel, I'm going to wend my way through the crowd here. And Mel says, good luck on your wending. Oh. And I said it to Carl, and he stopped, and he turned around, and he looked at me, and he said, you know that out really like that? I said, I know every line. He said, okay. And every day that I worked on that movie, Carl came and did lines from the album.
Oh, he was just
with me. I was Mel Brooks.
Oh, you were Mel Brooks.
He was Carl Reiner. He was Carl Reiner.
Right.
And he was the most wonderful human being on the planet. He was just incredible. But that's initially how I got out to Los Angeles. So
then you were with Steve Martin, and is Steve Martin how you got to SNL?
No, that actually happened before I moved to LA. That one of my sons just came home. That actually happened before I went to LA.
Oh, okay.
SNL is interesting too. My twin brother Mitchie and I came from, as I said, from Hewlett High School. And we had a classmate named Alan Zweibel. And Alan, we went all through junior high and high school with Alan. And Alan became one of the head writers of Saturday Night Live. He wrote
Wow.
all of Gilda Radner's stuff, all the Roseanne stuff, all of those things. And later, Alan became he's written movies, he's done books, he's done
Wow.
just a number of incredible things. Anyway, my brother, Mitchell, my twin brother, was looking for a job. And he went up to Saturday Night Live and spoke to Alan. And Alan said, we really don't have anything going on here, but maybe you could be like a gopher just to get up here. So Mitchell started as getting coffee for Lorne Michaels and doing different things, and very quickly became the associate director of the show and produced all the best of video shows that happened. He was
your
there.
Brother did that.
Yeah, he was there for 5 years, the whole time of the new cast. And so I started going up there to see my brother and Alan. And when that ended and Lorne was leaving, Alan suggested, even though he was going to leave the show, that he could get me an audition for the new cast. And I said, well, okay. And Alan worked on the audition with me. And I went in and did this crazy audition for them. And I got the job. And I was a featured player for that whole year, but got to do some really great stuff. And that was 80, 81.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. So that's and then you get out to LA. But I want to go back to when you were in high school with your brother.
Okay.
Because you are the second set of twins that I know now from Long Island. So my really good friend, Rick and Raymond Justo, they went to, I forget what high school they went to. It wasn't the one you said, but they are twin brothers as well. And, Rick is my good friend. His brother Raymond, they call him Uncle Daddy because he looks just like his brother. So I know Rick. But it's just funny though. So it's a second set of twins from Long Island. I don't know what's in the water out there.
Yeah, but, we're Long Island's famous for identical twins. I mean, they're everywhere you go. There's a set of identical twins somewhere on Long Island.
But one thing I always asked Rick, I said, you always had a buddy to play with, right? To do sports with. So did you play when you were growing up? Because I know you're a sports fan. What did you play? What did you and your brother? Were you lacrosse? What'd you do? Basketball?
No. Look at me, Gus. Do I look like a lacrosse player? No. Basketball was our life in high school. And basketball on Long Island during those days was huge.
Yeah.
But we played baseball, we played basketball, we played football, and we ran track during the track season as just for basketball. That's what we did. We ran and we ran track. But
got in shape.
Yes, we got in shape. But it's interesting about twins because think about it. I mean, we never had a time when there wasn't somebody there to have a catch with or throw the football or shoot baskets with, or our whole childhood growing up. And it helped tremendously. I mean, tremendously. We turned out to be pretty good basketball players. We were great athletes anyway. We were great.
Great athlete. And who fouled more in basketball?
Oh, he did. I did everything better than him. Of course, he was a ball hog. The funny thing is, that's actually what I was a point guard. He was a shooting guard, and he shot all the time. And I passed him the ball all the time. But
he just fell for it every time.
He's 4 minutes older than I am. So he pulled that crap on me all the time. I'm your older brother, blah, 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 all that stuff. But the best part of it was in football. And this is true. He was a quarterback and I was a receiver. And after so many years of instinctively, he would know where I was going to be.
Oh, yeah, that's great.
And so we would be playing in a game and they would try to cover me. I wouldn't even have to look up for the ball. I knew it was going to be there. And of course, if the defensive back is, well, you know this better than anybody. If they're looking at your eyes or looking at you, and then all of a sudden the ball is right there, they're like, how did you know that? How did you know?
Right.
Please, I've been doing it since we were 5. That's how I know it.
Oh, in the house, how many lamps you break?
Oh, God, you're good. Gus.
Windows.
You're good. I'll tell you the big now. See, I've done podcast. I've been asked interview questions. I've never been asked that question. When my parents left and they started leaving us alone without a babysitter, we were probably 12 or 13.
Right.
They would leave. We would push the coffee table back in front of the couch. And behind our couch, there was a table with a huge lamp that was so big it had real flowers around the base of it. And then the lamp was up here. We would push the coffee table away. And the game was you had to dive into the end zone, which was the couch.
Yeah.
And so we would take a kitchen towel and roll it up. And you would go and jump onto the couch and try to score. And very quickly, that lamp was knocked off of the table and split right in half. And it was an expensive lamp.
Oh, yeah.
Dirt everywhere. We cleaned it up. We put some they didn't have crazy glue back then. We tried to get it together. And we told our parents that the dog did it. We were playing with the dog, pulled the cord, the lamp came over. They didn't go for it, but that's what happened. This is great. Who knew?
My dad never went for that stuff either because my parents went on one trip and I had one party in high school.
Oh,
right. And so I have a party. I'm like, okay, they're gone. Everybody's coming over. I was so freaking nervous the whole time because people are having fun. They're smoking cigarettes. They're doing all this stuff. And I just kicked everybody out because I was going to have a panic attack because my dad was a right? My dad was like 6'3", just this massive dude.
Bad.
And I didn't, I'm like, okay, I'm going to get in trouble. These two guys locked themselves in our bathroom. We had 4 bedrooms, 1 bathroom. They locked themselves in the bathroom and they wouldn't come out. They basically just ripped the cabinets off, did everything, kicked holes in the wall. So my buddies and I finally got them out. We kicked them out. Everybody went home. And I'm just like freaking. I didn't sleep all night. Dad's going to kill me. Right. And I ended up getting my buddy whose dad was like a painter.
Yeah.
And we fixed the whole bathroom up before my dad came home and it looked the house was spotless, just like when they left.
Right.
And he goes, "Oh, you had a party here, huh?" And I go, "What are you talking about? I didn't have a party. I would never do that." And he goes, "I know you had a party." I said, "How would you know I had a party if I did have one?" He said, "Because I only smoke Winston 100s and there's all these other cigarette butts laying around everywhere else."
Oh, busted.
So it's just funny. But, when you're telling those stories, my sons did that forever. Yeah. We put little hoops up in the house.
Oh,
They'd break everything. My wife would yell at them, but it was just.
I'm so old, and this is a tear-jerking story. We didn't have the hoops that you could put up, the little hoops. They didn't even have those yet. That's how old I am. So what we did was we took a shoebox, cut out the bottom of it, taped it over the closet, and rolled up a pair of socks, and that was our hoop. And my brother and I, and you dribbled holding the sock. You would go 1, 2, 3, and then you'd make your move. And you spent most of the time putting that shoebox back up because you ripped it down all the time. But those memories are really great. And actually, it's making me want to call my brother when we get finished. Because
because I grew up 70s and 80s and we didn't have really video games, right? Everything we did was outside. I mean, I can remember my buddy and I playing basketball because we had a light. So you could play basketball at 1 a.m. We'd play in the summer, it was just, that's what we did. And I learned so many skills that I wasn't taught a lot. I didn't have like a specific coach teaching me stuff.
Right.
But when you're like with your brother, you probably learned so much how to just play.
Yeah, we did. And, the basketball thing, we didn't get a light over our garage, which was in the back of our driveway. Again, this is how old I was. Our next door neighbor went to Michigan, and this is probably 1963, maybe. Yeah. And Cassie Russell was at Michigan, and Bill Bradley was at Princeton.
Right.
And they played in the NCAA tournament, and we watched that game and said to my father, we wanted to go out and play basketball, and it was dark, and we made him get lights for the backyard after that game so that we could go out and shoot baskets at night. That was the game that convinced him that we needed to get lights out there in the backyard.
Yeah, I mean, but the thing was, your dad was always yelling at you to get the hell out of the house, right?
Yeah, he
and
was.
Then, all right, give me some lights, and I'll be out all night.
I'll stay, tomorrow morning if you don't want to see me. That's fine.
Right. Exactly. So, how do you think sports? Because I love to kind of translate sports into people's lives and how it helps them through times. You were in acting school, and you're in SNL, then you go to LA. Can you put together how sports may have helped you kind of do all those transitions?
Okay. There are a couple of ways I could answer this. I think sports, the competition aspect of sports, if you're really into sports, will always be with you, whatever you're doing. There's a part of you that when I was acting, I would sit there with a room full of actors waiting to audition for something. That feeling of competition, even though it was totally out of your control, it's not like sports where you either score or you don't score.
Right.
This is out of your control. But the feeling you have is I'm competing against all of these idiots, which they were to me, for a job.
Yeah.
Actually, my brother and I didn't talk for about 5 years because he became an actor too after I did. And we were competing for jobs. And when you have somebody that looks exactly like you,
right,
in a business that's what it's about at the beginning anyway, it was very hard for us. But that's off the subject. But the competition part, I think, is important. The other part of sports, and something that has defined my life in every way, is golf.
Yeah.
Growing up, we used to kick the crap out of guys that played golf in New York.
Yeah, right.
I mean, nobody did it. If you played sports, you didn't play golf. Nobody played golf. And my brother moved to LA before I did. And when I went out to LA in 81, the first time, I said to him, what have you been doing? He said, playing golf. I went, what? You're doing what? He said, I've been playing golf. And I started playing. That decision determined the rest of my life.
Really?
Because every important thing that happened to me, basically, is because of playing in celebrity golf tournaments. I know this sounds weird, but the job that I have now, I got because of playing in a celebrity golf tournament. Working with Coach K at Duke basketball for 10 years doing radio, I got because I went to play in a golf tournament at Duke in the early 90s and met Coach K. I met my wife at a golf tournament. I have 2 sons because of golf. Sometimes that really gets me angry. But having said that, that part of sports has influenced my life ever since I started playing it. It has introduced me, except for the few friends I have from high school that are still good friends of mine, and some people, acting friends, obviously. All the great friends I have, I've met because of golf, either in person or on Twitter now doing a golf show the way that I do, like Keith Hirschland.
Yeah.
Keith and I have never met in person.
Really?
But I consider him to be one of my closest friends. That's all because I'm doing a golf show. That's how I met Keith.
That's awesome.
So that part of sports has influenced my life in ways that when I was growing up, if you had ever told me golf would have that kind of an influence on my life, I would have told you were insane. But
right.
It has.
Well, I mean, probably growing up too, you probably would have never said I'm going to be an actor either. Or did you say that?
No, well, the funny thing is, my dad was very poor growing up. I mean, he started working when he was 8.
Yeah.
And so he never wanted to worry about my brother and I. So growing up, Mitchell was going to be a doctor and I was going to be a lawyer. That was it. There was no discussion. And I started doing theater in 8th grade. I played Hugo in Bye Bye Birdie in 8th grade. And I was brilliant. of course. And then I did theater all through high school and while I was at Tufts, but I never really considered it. And then I was taking my law boards my senior year at Tufts, and I put the pencil down. I looked around, and I went, "What am I doing? I don't want to do this." And I went home. All right, I'm a sap, and you're going to get me now. I went home at Christmas break, and my dad said, "Have you sent in your applications yet for law school?" And I said, "No." "Isn't it late?" I said, "Dad, I don't think I'm going to do that." He said, "Really? What are you going to do?" And going from the sublime to the ridiculous,
Yeah.
I said, "I think I want to be an actor." So I'm going from something where he never would have had to worry about me to something where all he would do was worry
Yeah.
about. And he got up from the table. He didn't say anything, and he walked in the living room, and my mother said, "You got to give him a minute. This is big."
Yeah, it's it's hard when
It-
you have to do that, and I mean, it's a great story because I feel you there because my dad was so ingrained in everything I did.
yeah.
Right.
Well, I walked inside, and my father said, "You got to give me a little while with this." And I said, "Okay." And I went up to the bedroom, and I felt horrible. I really did, because I loved my father so much. And the next morning, before he went to work at about 6:30, he came and sat on my bed. And he said, this is what gets me. He said, "If this is what you want to do, I mean, really want to do, then I'll do everything I can to help you." I mean, talk about the luck of having parents. And my mother was that way too. And the amazing thing is, it took me, like I said, I didn't get my first job in acting for 6 or 7 years. I got a Coke commercial, and that
Yeah.
got me my Screen Actors Guild card, which my father thought meant I was officially an actor. I had a union card, and that to him. And I didn't get my first big job, which was a movie called Prince of the City that Sidney Lumet directed, who was one of the most famous directors there were,
Right.
until 3 months after my dad passed away. He never saw that part of my career,
Yeah.
but he could not have done more for me all the years I was a waiter and driving a cab and doing all that. I even brought him to an acting class with me that Uta Hagen taught, who was one of the most famous teachers in the
Right.
world. And my dad came and sat in on class with my mom, and she was so mesmerizing. When we walked out, he said, "I don't think I ever got it before."
Yeah.
Now I understand why this is so important to you. I mean, he was just amazing.
So did like your parents always go to your, when you were in high school, go to theater, like watch you
Oh, yeah.
perform all the time?
Yeah. But it was just, I mean, it was high school theater.
So then when you're there and they come in and they watch you, they saw your passion like that. You know what I mean? Like it clicked.
That
Like
class was because I hadn't really done. They saw I was in a couple off Broadway shows. They came to those, but you're in a garage with 15 people watching you. It's kind of hard. They could tell I was good.
yeah.
But it's kind of hard to. Okay, that's great. Good luck. It's great. They never saw. Actually, my dad didn't. My mom, when I had been working, and when I got this show called Duet on Fox, was the first time I made real money. I mean,
Yeah.
like great money. And I bought a car for my mom. And I'm sorry.
Oh,
And I set it up. I was in LA. I bought the car from a place in Queens and came home and surprised her with it. Got her to the dealership in Queens and said, "I'm lost. I have to go get directions." And went into this dealership and came out with the keys and went like this, jingled them, and said, "That's yours." My dad never got to see that, but
right.
my mom did. and she just passed away, I think 4 years ago now. She was 93. So
Man.
she went through, I took her to the rap party for Eddie and the Cruisers.
She
somebody else
got to do everything. Well, you know what? Your dad was still there. Your dad was still there.
He is always. As a matter of fact, my eldest son, who's 17, is named Everett after my dad. So
that's a great name.
I get to say his name every day. So,
well, I'm the second. My dad passed away 17 years ago. I'm the second. My son's the third. So we say that name a lot.
You're Gustav,
but they call me Gus.
No, I know that.
My mom used to call me Gus Jr., and everybody still makes fun of me for that.
And you have a son named Gunner.
Gunner, yeah, but his first name is Gus.
I do research too, pal.
Yeah, Gustav Gunner. Yeah. Where did Gunner go to college? No.
I don't know. You went to Tulsa. I don't know where Gunner went. I'm sorry.
Yeah, nobody goes to Tulsa. Actually.
How about this? Jerry Rome went to Tulsa.
Oh, look at you. Hey, Huddle Up with Gus listeners. Manscaped, they sent me, they hooked me up with a bunch of tools and formulations for their package 3.0 kit. I want to show you guys what's in the perfect package, right? We all think we got a perfect package, but they sent me the perfect package 3.0 kit. And I want to show you what they sent me. So it was crazy. It came in this great box, and you can see what it says. They will thank you because they send us this awesome trimmer. They sent us, stuff that makes you smell better. And then, they sent me this great, some boxers even, which you get, right? Protect them. And then, they sent me this cool sack, I guess you want to call it, to store all your stuff in. So it's been great. Manscaped sent me a bunch of product, you can see it all on here. You can go to manscaped.com and put in the code Gus Frerotte, that's GUSFREROTTE, get 20% off and free shipping when you use that code. But you can get a kit, you can get individual items like this way cool groomer that has a little LED light, ceramic. These things come apart, they're waterproof, you can do a lot with them. So Manscaped is great. It's funny. I remember when I was playing with the Denver Broncos, and I'm not going to mention any names, but there was a gentleman who was playing on our team, and if he ever hears the story, he'll know exactly what I'm talking about. But he brought his own clippers in one time, and he used it to trim his beard up, his goatee, and everything. And he had them there for about 2 or 3 weeks, and he goes in around the corner, he walks in, and there's a person, another player, that is actually manscaping with his beard trimmer. So, one of the things is you don't want to use the same trimmer down there that you use up here. So he kind of freaked out a little bit, and he said, "Hey, how long have you been using that tool there?" And he said, "Well, it showed up here about 3 weeks ago, and I've been using it ever since." So, there is a lesson learned that, don't leave things out. And probably if it would have just said Manscaped on it, we wouldn't have had that issue. But it's probably one of the funniest taking care of your balls stories I've ever heard or been around in the locker room in the NFL. So it's a great story. But I always said there was no way to know. There was no name on it, and the guy was just using it, and another guy was using it. It was not good, but it's a heck of a funny story. So one of the best I've ever heard in my 15 years playing in the league. But there's so many great things about Manscaped and what they're doing, because guys, you got to take care of yourself. Even though I got gray hair and getting older, but you still have to maintain some sort of grooming, right? And so we all work out. For me, I like working in my yard, doing those things now that I'm retired, getting a little sweat on and everything. You want to smell good? You know, you got to take care of yourself. They got some great products. You know, this one, a little ball deodorant. We all need that here and there. After, you know, working in the yard, taking a hike, doing a walk, whatever you do, it's a great thing. But there's so many great products. I want to thank Manscaped for sending them to me. The Lawnmower 3.0, obviously you can use it anywhere in your body, but I'm sure you guys have all seen the commercials. But this is one just letting you know that the Lawnmower 3.0 comes with the perfect kit. You can buy the lawnmower by itself. You can buy all these products individually. They even sent me this wonderful shirt. You can see the back. Your balls will thank you. And then here's the front. So it's an awesome shirt. They have great gear. And you know what? Sometimes you can just sit back, take care of your balls a little bit, and read the paper. So I think Manscaped even has their own daily news, so which is great. So don't forget that you can go to the code Gus Frerotte, and that's GUSFREROTTE, and you can save 20% on any products. The perfect package gift set, and you know, you can save 20% and get free shipping. So use the code Gus Frerotte, GUSFREROTTE. Hey, everybody spells my name wrong. They even spelled it wrong in the back of my Pro Bowl jersey. So, you know, I gotta help you guys out. So don't forget how important it is that you use these products. Take care of yourself down below and have some fun. All right, there's nothing closer to you than your little buddies. So use the lawnmower, use the code Gus Frerotte, save 20% and get free shipping, and order some great Manscaped products.
Oh, I pull stuff. I can't remember where I live half the time, but sports-wise, listen to this. I'm free associating. I hope that's all right.
Oh, you're good.
I'm doing my show, my daily show. I'm on from noon to 2 every day. We have a caller that is a huge Wisconsin Badgers fan.
Right.
He's about 60. He calls every day, and I always yell at him, nobody cares about Wisconsin. Why are you talking about it?
Wait, football or just all Wisconsin?
Well, mostly football, mostly. And he's a big Packers fan. He's lived in Lexington for 20 years or something. Anyway, one day he calls, and I had it with him. I said, so you think you're a big Wisconsin fan? He said, yeah. I said, all right. I hadn't thought of this name in 40 years. I said, tell me who Ron Vanderkellen was. And he goes, who? I said, you see, I'm a bigger Wisconsin fan than you are. Ron Vanderkellen, that name popped in my head, was the MVP of the Wisconsin Rose Bowl team in 1963. I was 13, and he was on the cover of Sports Illustrated in a white helmet with a big red W on the front of the helmet. This stuff, I can pull up stuff from sports. I bet you can too.
No, I've been hitting the head way too many times.
Yeah, well, I didn't want to mention that whole head thing. I didn't.
Well, that's a whole separate issue.
I know.
Besides all the other times I've been hit by guys like Strahan and you name it.
Oh,
but yeah, you know, and I think it's just all these things play out. And even though you were in acting, you've been in all these incredible movies. Now you're doing sports. It's so funny how everybody's so similar in a way, right? Like you still get emotional about your dad. I do too. If I have to talk about my parents, my kids, right. And it all means so much. So when did you like all this? Like you go out and you're in LA, and you know, I think probably Eddie and the Cruisers would have been bigger than Duet, right?
Well, here's the thing. Two things. First of all, Duet was the first 3 years of the Fox network. So the first year, there were a lot of the country didn't even have the Fox network yet. I mean, we would go and do publicity at all these cities, and they had just added Fox. Eddie and the Cruisers we finished that movie. And when you do a movie, you never know how it's going to turn out, whether it's going to be successful. You have a feeling, but we didn't know. We were just doing that movie. We didn't.
Yeah.
And it went into the theaters and it was gone in 2 weeks. Gone. And we all went, well, that's a shame. You know, we worked pretty hard on that and nobody's going to see it. That movie didn't take off until cable came in, until HBO.
Really?
And all of a sudden, when Eddie and the Cruisers went on, it was HBO, within, I want to say, a month, the album went triple platinum. I mean, all of a sudden, everybody saw this movie that had no idea it was there. And to this day, it's been, like I said, 1983, 93, 2003, 13. In 2 years, it'll be 40 years ago that movie came out. And I'm doing the Comic-Con in Lexington this weekend. And it's mostly because of Eddie and the Cruisers. I'm telling you, it's the biggest cult movie. My good friend Terry there is a huge Eddie and the Cruisers fan.
She's yeah. She probably has a poster.
But a Michael Pare, not me. I know that.
Well, anyway, you might be in the background playing guitar.
Yeah, that's okay with me. Everybody knows the bass player drives the band. Everybody knows that.
So wait.
Yeah.
So when you were doing this movie, you knew how to you already knew how to play guitar, or was it just
No. I played growing up. I played accordion.
You and Steve Martin would get along great.
I mean, it's unbelievable. I didn't know how sexy an instrument the accordion was for a long time. And I played saxophone for a few years.
Oh, wow.
And I was the best air guitarist, I still am, ever in the world. As a matter of fact, that's partly how I got the part in Eddie and the Cruisers. I went into Martin Davidson, the director, and I was talking to him about the movie, auditioning. And I told him that I could. He said, "Do you play the guitar?" I said, "No, but I could convince you I do." And went and got a Santana tape and put it in and played Black Magic Woman and did air guitar every note to Black Magic Woman. And I think that was part of the reason I got the job. And
oh my gosh, that's awesome.
I learned how to play all the songs from the movie on the bass because I had friends that were musicians. I didn't want any of them to go, you weren't playing. I watched.
Yeah, you weren't. That wasn't real.
And so I learned how to play all those songs. Southside Johnny was our musical advisor and taught us how to be a band. He taught me how to play the bass. Yep.
Oh my gosh. But that had to be so much fun, like getting to learn something new and just, you know what I mean? Like it made you want to go to work every day, probably.
Well, that whole movie was quite an experience. It was really hard because none of us, the only person that played an instrument was the guy that was in the Beaver Brown band, Michael Antunes, the sax player.
Yeah.
The rest of us, none of us were ever in a band or play. I mean, if you watch Tom Berenger, who played the piano in the movie, he's going like this and doing all this stuff. But
well, the one scene where you were sitting on the wall with the other actor and you guys were like, he's terrible.
Yeah.
He can't play. And yet probably you weren't even lying. Like you weren't even acting.
Well, that was, it was hard because if you can't convince people for the most part that you're a band, you have no movie.
Right.
Michael Pare, we did it to playback. We did all the songs to playback. Michael couldn't lip sync. He couldn't do it. We worked so hard on that. And it's a credit to him. I worked with him all the time on lip syncing. And it's a credit to him that the first day we started shooting the music, magic happened. And if you watch the movie now, he's really good with the lip syncing. Really good. But it was hard. It was a hard shoot. There was a lot of tension between Marty, the director, and a couple of people in the cast. And it was hard, but at the same time, we were a rock band. I mean,
yeah, you were a rock band.
Growing up, I wanted to do two movies. I wanted to play center field in Yankee Stadium or play basketball in the Garden or a sports movie. And as every actor, I wanted to be in a rock and roll movie. That's what every actor wants to be, a rock and roll star. Every actor.
What rock and roll movie did you, when you were growing up, did you watch?
I'm not sure that it was any movie that I actually watched. I mean, I don't really remember any from my childhood, as I said, because they just weren't making them that frequently.
Right.
But, there have been a lot of great rock and La Bamba is one of my favorite movies. There have been a lot of really good movies that featured rock and roll, but I don't think I had one that really influenced where I just always loved music. I sang, I lip synced, I did air guitar, I did all that. I always loved music. So,
well, I think your passion for all these different things is what's keeping you young, and not what you did in the 70s and 80s.
Yeah. You know what? It's funny. We talked about that a little before we went on, but I think you're absolutely right. I think it's a big part of it. My passion sometimes gets me in trouble because it seems like, and I think this is part of growing older too. I'm a very impatient person. I mean, I'm a true New Yorker.
Right.
I don't have time to I don't. Well, if I have,
I mean, there's so many people like that can't drive in Kentucky. You're probably flipping the bird to them all the time.
I don't do that because I'm afraid of them. But I have been known. I told my producer of my show, Sean, today, I said, I don't understand it. 10 seconds after I get in the car, I've already dropped an F-bomb 4 times at least. 10 seconds after I get
see, you can't say it on the radio, so you got to get them all out before you get there.
That's exactly, I think, how I feel. But I'm really impatient, and I feel like I can't. There are so many things I have trouble tolerating now that I may be used to. But I feel like in all walks of life, in everything that's going on in sports and my kids and I feel like I don't have time to waste on things that I just can't tolerate. And it gets me in trouble sometimes, but it's the way it is.
Yeah. Sometimes I have to take medication for that kind of stuff. So calm me down a little bit, bring me off the edge. I completely understand. So we moved through your career. We have a question from one of our fans for you.
Oh, cool.
About let me find it here. Oh wait, it's right up here. 90210. Obviously, there's a lot of fans of that show.
Yeah.
And this is from Jordan Wright in Arlington, Virginia. And
Cool.
Jordan wants to know, when you were on the show 90210, describe what Aaron Spelling was like on set and any funny stories from your time on the show. So you were on the show for how many years?
9.
So I'm sure there's multiple funny stories.
Well,
and were you a prank? I know you're like comedian, and were you a prankster on the show? Did you pull pranks? No.
I've never been a comedian. I mean, I'm just an incredibly talented actor, Gus.
I'm glad you're so humble.
Humility is one of my strongest traits. I mean, I'll just say that. I hate patting myself on the back. I was on Saturday Night Live, but it's a product of where I grew up and my friends growing up, that we all were comedians. We always joked. We always did things. 90210 was a very interesting experience. I had done quite a few things. My agent called me. Now, here's another part of Fox, the Fox network.
Yeah.
The first year of 90210 was the lowest rated show on television. Nobody knew about it. It was on Fox. It was a bunch of high school kids, and they did something very smart. That summer, they did all new episodes, which no shows did. They all did reruns.
Right.
All of a sudden, I think they sent Luke and Jason Priestley to open a shopping mall like in Florida, and 15,000 people showed up. And Fox went, wait a minute, hold it. Something's going on here.
Yeah.
I got a call from my agent, and he said, they want you to come in. They want to talk to you about playing the father of one of the kids on 90210. And I said, I'm not doing that show. That show's terrible. Why would I want to do that? I was very kind of arrogant about everything I had done.
Right.
And he said, thank the Lord, you've never played a father before. Just go talk to them. It might be good for you to do. And I thought it was for one episode. And it turned out kind of to be an audition to see how Ann Gillespie and I, who was going to play my girlfriend, wife,
Right.
ex-wife on the show, were together. And I went in and I really didn't know anybody on the show. And I said, whose father would I be playing? They said, his name is Brian Austin Green. Now, 5 years before that, I did a show called Circus of the Stars.
Right.
It was on Thanksgiving every year. It was very popular. It was all these actors, and they would put on a circus. Well, how about this, Gus? You want to talk? I'll tell you what kind of athlete I am. I walked a high wire.
You did.
Did
you have like the pole and everything?
I had the pole, but I also rode a bike across the high wire, 20 feet up. That's right. I'll send you the video sometime.
Oh yeah, that's an athlete.
The video.
Yeah.
Anyway, Brian Austin Green was 13 and was on that Circus of the Stars. He was on Knots Landing at the time.
What did he do?
He did the thing where there's a teeter-totter and he's standing on it and somebody jumps on the end and he flipped in the air and landed on this big chair. He was great. It was amazing what he did. Anyway, they said Brian Austin Green would be your son. I said, okay, I'm in, because I loved him. We rehearsed for Circus of the Stars for 6 weeks together, and I loved that kid. I said, okay, I'm in. And that's what became 9 years of being on the show. And of all the things I've done, I think it was, this is going to sound weird, but I think it was the least creative thing as an actor that I did, because I loved Brian so much. I loved all the people that I was working with, except for one, and I won't mention his name. Anyway, but
that's the 50-50, because you went to him and then it didn't say her, so that's good.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, okay, just figure it out. Maybe
we'll figure it out.
I loved Jason. I loved Luke. Those two more than anything. Let's see, what were the other guys on it? Anyway, but the show, you talk about popularity.
Oh my gosh.
This is what I talk in, like 95. I'm a big history buff. I got to go to work in Germany, and I went to East Berlin, what used to be East Berlin. I wanted to see the Brandenburg Gate, which is Napoleon's armies. It looks like the Arc de Triomphe.
Right.
And Napoleon's armies marched underneath this Brandenburg Gate. I couldn't believe I was standing in what was East Berlin looking at this. A bus pulls up and there are Swedish tourists in Germany. And about 30 people get off the bus and somebody turns around and sees me and goes, Beverly Hills! 30 people rush over to me. They could have cared less where they were, what they were doing. And autographs and can we take pictures with you? And it really hit me. I knew what was going on in this country. But when that happened and I saw what the effect was in Germany, I was like,
yeah, we got something good.
Oh,
there was always, and you're working with young kids. There was always drama. There was always, I mean, I don't remember all of it, but I'm sure you do. There was probably a lot of drama going on. And
well, they were the most famous people really in the country in terms of acting. And they were all, for the most part, 18, 20, 19. They were huge stars making all this money. When I was 19 and I was a sophomore in college, I was still trying to figure out how to tie my shoes. I mean, and they're dealing with stuff that it's impossible to understand how difficult that is. And for the most part, they handled it really well, I thought.
Yeah, I mean, that's got to be tough for anybody. I mean, even for us, like when you get to the NFL, you're 23.
Oh, yeah.
You're 23 and you don't have any clue how to handle money or anything, especially media and all that. I couldn't imagine what it's like to be, just one of those, when you're 18 and you have all this.
Well, think about now, like we didn't have social media. I keep thinking, imagine those kids if we had TikTok and Twitter and
my gosh,
Instagram and everything back then. I know how devastating it would have been to me, and I was supposedly an adult.
Right.
I mean, thank God we didn't have social media when I was doing all my whole acting career, basically.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Could you? I bet those have been some good pictures.
Yeah. Okay. What else do you want to talk about?
So then you get done with 90210.
Yeah.
After 9 years, is it like, okay, I'm going to take a break, or
No.
I got this next thing I'm going to do? Because I know you're like, I bet your mind was going, what's next? What I'm going to do
Well,
next?
it was, but not in the way that you think. I had just really gotten sick of living in Los Angeles. I had it.
Oh, the
And
traffic right there.
and yeah, but I drove a cab in New York. Come on, Gus. The traffic.
Nah, that's different in LA.
Oh, trust me, I know. I just hated what it had become for me. I'd been
Right.
there for almost 20 years. And everything was so tied to the business. If somebody said to you, how you doing? And you said, I'm great. First thing, what are you working on? Everything about it. And for some reason, the last couple of years that I lived there, it just got to me. I didn't have a family. I just got sick of being in the business.
Yeah.
And my agent called me one day, and I, even though I had a lot of success, I never got on a series like Seinfeld where you don't ever have to worry for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
I always had to get a job. Sometimes I was offered that. Sometimes I had to audition. My agent called me one day and said, just so you know what's going on out here, the business is getting very young. He said, I submitted you for a pilot for NBC for a sitcom. I had guest starred on every sitcom in LA. I had my own sitcom for 3 years. And my agent said, the casting director, who was about 25, said to me, can he do comedy? I mean, I really like him on 90210, but does he do comedy? When I heard that, I went, I'm gone.
Yeah, I'm out.
And as I said before, I had no idea what I was going to do. I went to play in the Duke Children's Classic golf tournament, and I sat next to Mike Krzyzewski and his wife, Mickey, a couple years before that. So we had gotten friendly. And I went back to play in the tournament. I had dinner with them, and I told Mike I wanted to leave. And he said, what are you going to do? I said, I don't know. I just know I want to get out of LA. And he basically said, why don't you come work with me? I went, what?
So wait, what did you do?
I did radio for the Duke Basketball Network for 10 years with my knees in Coach K's back for every game for 10 years. That's what I did.
But how do you, let's see, that arena is so loud. How do you even, I mean, you can't even hear yourself in there sometimes.
No, but I had big padded headphones. So I was like, okay, like this.
So you got all the scoop from Coach K.
I did. And 90% of it, I couldn't really say what was going on. I would get in the huddle with them during timeouts. He had always wanted to try that. And he thought I would be the perfect guy to do it, even though I got in trouble a couple times for things that I said, because first and foremost, I'm a fan. And I'd be sitting in Cameron and going, it took me a while to go. Johnny Moore, who ran the radio network, would say to me, you can't do that. You're holding a Duke Radio Network microphone. You can't get up and be doing this stuff. Oh, okay. All right. Okay. I get it. But that's what I did when I left LA for 10 years before I came to Kentucky. Yeah.
Well, that's amazing. Like, because that doesn't just happen to everybody.
No,
right?
This is what I mean.
I've played in lots of celebrity golf tournaments.
Yeah.
And just you go and play and you go home and you meet some people. But that's amazing that like you go play in a Duke celebrity golf tournament and Coach K says, just come work for me.
Yeah.
You must have I know you're humble, but you must have a really good personality.
No, I act like I have a really good personality. I mean, the thing you'll appreciate this so much, Gus. I am in such awe of the people that I have gotten to meet, whether I got friendly with them or not. The very first celebrity tournament I played in was in Orlando. It was Payne Stewart had a tournament.
Yeah.
And I went the day before to play in the practice round. And the kid at the golf course takes my bag. He said, your cart's over there. And I walk over and there's a bag on my cart already. Another celebrity I'm going to play in the practice round with.
Right.
And I turn the bag tag around and it's Bart Starr.
Oh, really?
Now, I'm a Giants fan, but it's Bart Starr.
Right.
I'm just like this nobody actor. And for 4 holes riding with Bart, I couldn't even talk.
It's like the whole Carl Reiner thing all over again.
It was, but I would look out of the corner of my eye and I would go, my God, it's Bart. I'm riding with Bart Starr. He turned out he had a son who wanted to be an actor. He asked me all kinds of questions. He was wonderful. But
did you beat him?
All those people. No, I always let athletes, I would have let you beat me because you have your egos.
Yeah, you let us win.
Yeah, you have very fragile egos. I know.
New Yorkers are so nice.
And humble and all of those things.
Right, exactly.
Anyway, the number of athletes who I revere. Here's another one, okay? I'm playing in a golf tournament, and I go for the practice round, and I'm riding with Julius Erving. Okay?
Oh, yeah, that would.
Now, my brother and I grew up on Long Island. Julius grew up 20 minutes from us, graduated the same year that we did, and we played against him. I killed him. Anyway,
yeah. Oh, yeah, of course.
So we're riding in the golf cart, and it was 20 years later. And I said to him, I played against you. He went, where'd you go to high school? I said, Hewlett. He went, you went to Hewlett? I said, yeah. He thinks for a minute. He said, do you have a twin brother? That was the greatest compliment.
Oh, my gosh.
In the world. And since then, we played, and I am friendly with so many.
That is awesome.
That I admire. And now I'm going to be friends with you because I'll tell you something. Enough about me. You threw for over 21,000 yards in your career. 21,000. You had a 15-year career in the NFL. You are, to me, and if you played, I have a friend, Doug Flynn, who played for the Reds for the Big Red Machine.
Right.
I think he hit 211 in his career. And I make fun of him all the time. And the first time I said, you hit 211, dude, he said, and every one of those hits was in the major leagues. Every one.
Yeah.
That's what I think about you. The career that you had is incredible. I look at you in awe as I'm looking at you now that you did that.
Really? Yeah, well, I'm just a dad and a husband. That's all I am.
Well, me too, but I'm just, you're very humble too. I know. That's how I feel.
Well, I always have my dad. See, my dad's always in the back of my head.
Saying
or just smacking me, right? That's why I don't have tattoos. I never had an earring.
Yeah.
Because, he was going to rip either one of them. If I got any of them, they were coming out.
Yeah.
He was one of 15 kids in a Catholic family. So.
Oh, my Lord. Well, no wonder you were such a great athlete. I mean, you're like, doing all that stuff with your family. That's amazing. 15 kids?
He was one of 15 kids. He was crazy.
Holy cow.
Yeah, it was always going to one of his brother's sister's house, always. Our family reunions were nuts because half my family lives in Canada. So it's crazy. Yeah, it really is crazy. So
that's great.
Tell us a little bit about your show, how people can find you, and
okay, there,
because I know you're all over social media. It's your favorite thing.
Well, Twitter is, and thank God, I started doing my golf show. I've been doing my daily show for 12 years. My golf show, I think this is our 6th or 7th year. And when I started, I had a very young producer named Eric Matthews. And he said to me, like the second week, are you on Twitter? I said, no, I'm not doing that. I'm not getting on social media. I'm not. He said, you have to, because you have this show. It's going to be the only way you can connect and get guests for the show.
Yeah.
Went, oh, okay. And I started out and I got 20 followers and 30 followers. If it weren't for Eric making me do that, I wouldn't have any of these friends the way that I'm talking to you right now.
Yeah.
I met Keith because of Twitter, Hirschland, who introduced me to Terry and to you after he did your wonderful podcast. So Twitter is big to me. I hate a lot of it because of everything that's going on. But for my shows, I need to be on Twitter. Facebook is for my family and my family stuff.
Well, it's just amazing that you have two shows, right? You have a golf show and then you just do sports radio, right?
Right.
So sports radio, you're talking about everything.
Yes.
Right. You're bringing up old Wisconsin players who are in the Rose Bowl. And
Right.
then in golf, in your golf show, now, what are you just talking about the tournaments that are being played every week? Or are you doing talking about like new equipment coming out? What is it?
No, I mean, I do. I have a friend that does a great review of equipment that I have on every once in a while. But my golf show, I just want to have fun. I don't care about that many tournaments anymore. I didn't even care about the FedEx Cup that they just played, to be honest with you.
Right.
The Solheim Cup I wanted to talk about. The majors I'll talk about, but I just want interesting people. And that's the way I got to Keith Hirschland was about him being a producer for the first 20 years of the
golf channel. Yep.
Right. So that's what my show is about. And I have local people on, local pros that put on all kinds of great things for junior golfers here. I have a guy in Ireland that comes on my show that runs the best junior golf tour in the world.
Really?
And I have him on my show. It's fantastic.
Oh, you probably love his accent. Does he have a good accent?
He does. He doesn't like mine, though. He says I'm like the Lucky Charms guy.
You're way better at air guitar.
Yeah, I am. I know that.
So, all right, last question. If you got to pull a club out of your bag and play air guitar, which one is it? What a question. Play air guitar with which club? It actually would be my putter that my brother Mitchie gave for our birthday last year to me. That's a replica of the putter that Seve Ballesteros used for a long, long time. Wow.
Seve is my idol.
Okay.
Always has been. And that's my favorite club. So I would pull that and play air guitar on my putter.
I was thinking more driver because of the bass, like the long.
Yeah, no, I learned how to play. Actually, my putter would be more like a ukulele.
Yeah. My kids make fun of me all the time because I bend over so far to putt. I play with my boys constantly, and then so they get to play. They play scramble, and I play by myself, and I still whoop them all the time. So
good.
I say you still got a long way to go.
Yeah, I mean, come on, really. Tell them to give me a call. I'll talk to them about how they treat you.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Really?
It's terrible.
Anyway, you can get me on Twitter at RealLauro5, Lauro, and the number 5.
All right, and then everybody can catch you on ESPN Radio, right?
Yep.
Is that local or is that national show?
It's local, all over Kentucky, but we have an app. It's WLXG.com, and you can go on there and listen live anytime you want.
Awesome. I'm going to check it out. I got to go listen to you. I want to hear this guy yelling at you about Wisconsin. So.
Oh, cool. His name is Ted. Okay.
Ted. All right. I'll call in right after Ted.
I would love that. You can call. I'll talk to Terry and we'll get you.
Yeah, I'd love to call in.
I don't know if you know this, but oh my God, the NFL season started like a few minutes ago.
Yeah,
I don't know.
It's all right.
Yeah, I know. Tell me about it.
You're probably rooting for Brady, right?
No, we call him Bomb Trady. That's what we call him. And I'm not watching any game that the Cry Boys play in.
Oh, so you're not even watching tonight.
I'm not. I'll walk by the TV and I'll go, oh, great, because I'll have to talk about it tomorrow. But I'll read about it on Twitter after the game. Right, I'm not watching a Jerry Jones team. No.
Oh, no.
I'm not doing it.
I have a little affinity for the Cowboys just because I coached Ezekiel Elliott in high school. So,
wow.
So wow. I got to watch a little bit there.
I love Zeke. I love Dak. It's not about that. It's more about, obviously, the Giants and the Cry Boys, their rivalry. But to me, it's about Jerry Jones, period.
Right.
I don't want anything to do with them. So
it's like Daniel Snyder.
Yes. Yes. There's
Exactly, right?
Two owners in sports we could get into this.
Yeah. I'll definitely have to call into your show.
Absolutely. Anytime.
Well, hey, Mathew, this has been awesome. It's one of my favorite shows. I appreciate you joining me on Huddle Up with Gus. I had so much fun.
Thanks, Gus. I can't tell you what it means to me, seriously, to do this with you.
Well,
really,
I'll have to come down. We'll record it on my phone. We'll do the bourbon tour. We'll go golfing.
Okay.
And we'll have another show.
Absolutely.
We might not be coherent, but we'll have fun.
That's good podcasting and good radio.
Yeah, your Irish accent will come out and
it'll sound perfect.
It'll be perfect.
Okay.
All right, buddy. Hey, thank you, Mathew, for joining me.
Great. Thank you. And thank you, Brian and Terry, too. Thanks for having me. I'll talk to you soon.
All right. Take care, buddy. Have a good night.
See ya.
Hey, everyone. That was a great episode with Mathew. I appreciate you listening to Huddle Up with Gus. Join us every week, and you can listen to us wherever you listen to your favorite podcast. What a great guy. I can't believe how awesome he was. We just had an amazing talk. But, hey, I want to thank all my partners. I want to thank Brian and Terry for helping. Terry, thank you so much for getting great guests. And I want to thank 1631 Digital News, Sounder FM, and don't forget about Vegas Sports Advantage.
And that's a wrap, sports fans. Thanks for joining in the fun at the 1631 Digital Studios for another action-packed Huddle Up with Gus, featuring 15-year NFL quarterback Gus Frerotte. Huddle Up with Gus is proudly produced by 1631 Digital Media and is available on Apple Music.